in the see just so in the last class we have discussed this example. Here one class we have defined, that is output class, which is extended from thread class, and that output class, inside the output class there is a local private member, data member, to say, and that is initialized through the constructor. And this is your run method. Inside the run method there is a loop, infinite loop is there, which is printing the value, the to say value continuously, and after printing each to say value it sleep for 1000 millisecond. So after that again this will continue, and remember the number of threads which you will create, all the threads will execute independently. So this try and catch is used for the exception handling, and total this run method will be executed at least for executed till you stop the thread. Then in the main function we have discussed, we have seen there are two threads we have created, thr1 and thr2 of this output class, and to execute the thread, there is a predefined member function method, that is start method. Start method is used to start the thread. Okay, and once it is started, then uh, then you have to stop by using any other method, or you have to by force you have to terminate it. Okay, so we have seen this program in the last class. So this is your program where we used this thing, and we have just see the program here. So here this thr1 uh, is started. Dot start is the method of thread class. Okay, so because of this thread class is inherited in the output, so that start method can be directly accessible. And remember, this start method is a member of thread class, and it is public member. So because of it is public member, it can be accessible through the object of the derived class. And here this one is used to start the thr1 object, and this is for thr2 object. So here when thr1 starts, so it will print 2 say. So here thr1, it is in the 2 say value is initialized with hello. So hello will print once, then sleep for 1000 millisecond, then this loop will continue. But in case of thread, it will not give the chance time to the particular um, this loop till means because of this thread starts, then this thread starts. So both the thr1 and thr2 parallelly executed and used in the memory. So sometimes this means your system will share your resources for to each thread one by one. So suppose thr1 start executed, means this run method executed, and for thr2 run method executed, and this when start method called, run method starts the execution, and which we have seen. Again we will see the thread demo.java. So there you see the to say this hello, and their message comes. But you will find sometimes sometimes one method, one start from one run will be called by it is not necessary that hello and there will come one by one. It depends upon the system resource time available. Okay. So this is about the simple example of the thread program. So next we have seen another program that is here using implements, that is using the runnable interface. Oh, okay, we have not discussed, I think. Okay. So, as we have discussed in the previous class, there are two methods to use the thread class, and one is the by extending the thread class. Another is the by implementing the runnable interface. One thread class is there, and another runnable interface is there. And runnable interface also use the thread class. So now today we will see another example, that is where we, instead of extending the thread class, we will implement the runnable interface. So that this program here, this output class is implements runnable. To use the interface, we will use the keyword implements. So implements, this is your interface name, runnable. Remember, make sure this runnable is R, capital R. Okay. Then private string to say all the rest, this thing is same as the previous, and this also same as the previous. So there is no difference. Just see the previous program here. Extends thread is used, and rest thing whatever written here, implements runnable is used, and rest thing is as it is. So there is no difference between these two. Only the difference is there it is extends the thread, and here implements the runnable. Both are same, and code is same. Okay, only something different in the main method. When you call the track the execution. Okay, so here you just see in the main method, when we are using this implements the runnable interface, then this thing is saying to create the object, and this is also to create the object, but this thread thr1 equal to new thread out. Because of this interface, so again we need to create a thread so that start method will be called. So once out2 created, then using the thread class we have created the thread, and through thread we have started the, and this thr1 is linked to out1. This see here the syntax of creating using the runnable interface. In the main function, you have to create a thread class object, thread class reference, which will be referred to the parameter of this thread is out1. This is your means here when this line executes, here it executes the constructor, and here constructor receives one out1 output class object, that is out1, and out1 is implements the runnable. Okay, so and rest next GTs you have seen. Okay, just you see the program here. I will show you the program in the two programs. Here this is your using extends thread, and here it is used implements runnable. This is the only difference, and rest this part is same, and here also same, this part is same. Okay, only the line is this extends thread, and in the runnable, that is implements runnable, because here thread is a class, here runnable is a interface. So here in the main function, there just see here in the main function we have created two objects of output class, and directly through that object the start method is called. But in the interface, when we have used runnable interface, here it has created the two objects first, out1, out2, which is the output type. Then again we are creating the reference of the thread class, and that reference, using that reference constructor is there, where it receives this out1, out2 as the parameter. Then thr1 dot start, thr2 dot start required. Okay, now let us see let us execute this program thread demo 1.java. Okay, in the output also there is no difference, like previous program. Here is also it is using, only the way of implementation are different, but the purpose is same. Okay, so to create the so from here we understood that to create the thread, there are to use the multi-threading mechanism, there are two methods. One is extending the thread, that using extend the thread class. Another is implement the runnable interface. And when you want to call, you need to create a thread class reference, and that reference will be used in the constructor. You will call the pass the this object which is created, which is the object of a class, and that class is using the interface, runnable interface. These are the two programs. Here in this program, in the thread extended class, you are redefining the run method, and run method declared inside the thread class. Okay, so it is a function overriding. But in interface, again same thing is there, run method is there. So run method, again you are redefining. Only the when you are creating the child class of thread class or runnable interface, then the only the difference is you are using here extends thread, here you are using implements runnable. Okay, and that's the only the difference between the class definition, child class definition of thread and runnable. But inside the main function, here this when we are creating the object of thread class, the child class, we are creating it. Then to run the child class, we need to call start method. Otherwise, this run method will not execute. The run method, to execute the run method, we need to call the start method. And remember, this start method cannot be called twice until unless we stop that thread. Okay, once thread started, we cannot run it, restart it again until unless it is stopped. Okay, so next we will see next program. So this thing we have seen.
Sir.
So yes.
Sir, Srushti got.
So here in the runnable interface, if you, the main method is the main method inside the when you use the runnable interface, then the main method is little bit complex with compared to your thread extension. Okay, everything else identical for the most part. So both are similar, only run method having some complex syntax. So advantage of using runnable, so that is remember can only extend one class. Okay, can only extend one class. So here you can extend only one class in the runnable interface. So implementing runnable allows class to extend something else. So anything you can extend from the runnable interface. So life cycle. Today we'll continue this thing in today we'll continue and this third topic and some theoretical things we will discuss here now. So the topic is life cycle of thread. Every thread having some steps, some status. Okay, there are some states. So here there are 5 states in the of each thread. One is state is called new. When the thread is created, that is called new thread. And next state is runnable or ready state. Okay, means it is ready for execution. The state the thread is ready for execution. Next is running. Running means the this thread is currently a particular thread is running. And not non-runnable, that means may be blocked or time wait. It may be waiting for other thread to be allow to the current thread. Okay, not runnable means at a time the processor can run a particular thread. Okay, so if another thread is required to use a particular resource, then it should wait. Okay, that state is called non-runnable. Okay, that may be blocked or timed wait. Okay, for some time it should wait. Next state is terminated or dead state. Means when you close the thread, that is called terminated state. Okay, so in the just see the diagram here. New is the first state. Then from new, when we are calling the start method, then it entered to runnable. It entered to runnable, and when after runnable, immediately it starts the running. Okay, start the execution. And when if suppose any sleep or some other methods are executed for hold for block or something suspend, then it entered to non-runnable. So just all of you draw this diagram here. So first is your new, then runnable, then running, then if sleep, block, wait for lock, suspend, wait. So if this type of things are processed for that particular thread, then it entered to non-runnable state, that is blocked state. So after some time, it is allowed to again run. That is, it comes to runnable state, then again running. After process complete the running, then it exits. That is terminated state. Okay, so means when you close that thread, then that is called terminated thread. So 5 states of a particular thread, that is this is called life cycle. First is new, then runnable, then running, then terminated, and in the middle of the runnable and running, this is non-runnable or blocked. And see the arrow mark, from new it comes to runnable, from runnable to come to running, and from running to, there are two ways. One is terminated or non-blocked. Somebody will pause it. Okay, so this come to non-runnable, and from non-runnable again it come to runnable and come for running. Okay, after some time it may come to terminated. So this is your life cycle of the thread. So new means the thread is new state. If you create an instance of thread class, but before the invocation of start method, if you create the instance of the thread class, then it is called new state. Runnable means The thread is runnable state after invocation the start method. When we are executing the start method of the thread, then this is called runnable state. But the thread schedule has not selected. It is to be running thread. Okay, as per the schedule, it will run, but it is started. It starts the starts for and ready for running. Now running means the thread is running state. If the thread scheduler has selected it, means we have not studied this thread scheduler. If now after some time we will see it. So each thread will get some time slot. At particular slot, the thread will run. Otherwise, it will pause, hold, and leave the resource to other thread. At a time, one thread can use a particular resource. Okay. Next is non-runnable. Non-runnable means it is blocked. This is the state when thread is still alive but currently not eligible to run. Then terminated. A thread is in terminated or dead state when it runs method exits. Okay. So these are the 5 states which we have discussed. Next, come to thread class. Okay, thread class already we have used using extents. Okay, so again we just theory things we should know. Thread class provide constructors and methods to create and perform operations on a thread. Thread class extends object class and implements runnable interface. Commonly used constructor and thread class. One is thread method, that is thread constructor, or thread within parenthesis string name, thread within parenthesis runnable R, thread runnable R string name. These are the 4 constructors are there for thread class. Okay, that may be null parameter, string parameter, runnable as well as string parameter. Okay. So commonly used methods for thread class, that is run method. It is used to perform action for the thread, that is run method. Start method, which is used to start the execution of the thread, and that start method will call the run method. And another is sleep method, which will wait for hold for sleep for that given millisecond. Okay, get name, return the name of the thread. Set name, that is changes the name of the thread. You can set a name for a thread. So next is current thread. Which thread is currently executing? That is the method is current thread. Get ID, it return the ID of the thread, and get state, it return the state of the mm, uh, state of the thread. Okay, so some methods we will discuss in the coming slides. Okay, and this run method already we have discussed. Run method in 2 programs we have seen the run method. Here also, just see this here run method is used, and here also this run method is defined. And when you call the start method, here start method, when it is calling, run method will be executed. Indirectly it is called run method. Okay, so this is the method. Can we start a thread twice? The question is, can we start a thread twice? What will be the output? Who can say? So here when we execute this program, as per you, output is hello there. We have not saved it. Okay, only once it will get the output. Okay, so after successfully executing the run method, automatically it is terminated. Okay, so here in this program, it extends from thread class, and in the run method or in the try only, so before try there is a output message R1 is showing, and this is, remember, this is not under your run method, sorry, this is under your run method but not under the try block. But see here, R1 message will come for the thread, then it wait for 5000 millisecond. Okay, then it shows the message R2 for a particular thread. So now when T1 starts is showing executing, then it shows R1, then wait for some time, then R2. Okay, so during that wait for some time, it will not waste the time for a particular thread. It will give the time to other thread, because this T1 start means it is entered to runnable state, not running. Okay, but when resource, it is getting the resource, it starts the running. So these two statements are written for executing the runnable, to enter to the runnable state. After that, it execute this process parallelly for each thread, that is for T1 and T2. So at this point, let us see what is the here. T1 dot is alive function return true or false. So here also return true or false, that we will see. So this is alive demo.java. Okay, let's see here, true, true, both for both alive this live. See the program here. Here T1 start, enter to runnable state, then here is alive function return true, return true, then immediately it come to this run state for T1, then R1 message comes, then again R1 has come for T2, then sleep function executed for each, then R2 executed, R2 executed. So here operating system automatically decided which statement will be given priority, which will be given less priority. That's why here we find after this R1, now for before processing R2, then it starts the sleep function. But it is not necessary that every time it is waiting for that. But it is normally for each statement will give the time. Okay. So this is about the isLi function. So isLi function returns true or false. So inside your program, you can test it. If it is alive, then do this thing. If it is not alive, then do this thing. That thing you can do it. Okay. So this is your isAlive method. Now another is join method. Join method is a method uh, which will hold other threads to enter for using the resource. That means whether other threads are allowed or not, or that will be blocked, then that current thread will decide. Okay, join means just you are the thread is instructing or in communicating other threads, those are already in the queue. Okay, they should join after it will exit. Okay, that is your join method. So join this method wait until the thread on which it is called terminates. Okay, its name comes from the concept of the calling thread waiting until the separate thread joining it. Additional form, okay. Now we'll see the program here, using the join method. Just see the program. So these programs I will share with you. So you will write and use it later. So next here I used in the run method. There is a get name method used. So so many things I have used here. Get name method. In get name method, it is mm, it is returning the name of the thread. As I told you in the here get name method, it is returns the name of the thread. Okay. Then sleeps for 1000 millisecond. Then again get name method is showing the current which thread it is executing at this point. Okay. Then again get name. So 3 times I have used this get name. R1 get name, only get name, R2 get name. We will see which statement is executed for which thread, and for that purpose we have used here get name method. And this in the main method here, this T1, T2, T3, T4, 4 number of objects reference instances created here. Then the here this set name method is used to set the name my thread 1, my thread 2. Here set name method is called. So set name method, what is the purpose of set name method? Set name method purpose is to change the name of the thread. Okay, to change the name of the thread. So here I have set the name of the thread is my thread 1 for T1. Another for T2, that is my thread 2. For T3, my thread 3. For T4, my thread 4. So I have set it. Okay. So after setting, now T1 dot start means T1 start method, that means run method is called. In the run method, what is it is doing? R1 get name. So here R1 my thread 1 should show. Then 5000 millisecond wait. Then only my thread 1 should show. Then again here R2 my thread 1 should show. Okay. Then here you see try join catch. This means here waiting for T1 to finish, means until unless T1 is not finishing, then T2 will not start. Here T2 start is written. So T2 will start after T1 completes the task. Otherwise, T1, T2, these two will process parallelly. Okay. Here join function is giving the instruction to other threads for waiting. Okay. That you can say in reverse, that is join method instructs other waiting methods for waiting. Okay. That will not be allowed. So after completion of T1 method process run method, then only it will start T2. After like that, T2 join means it allows it holds to execute other threads. Okay. Next T3 start. So T3 joins, then T4 start. So one after one it will execute one after one. So the program name is threadjoin.java. See here, R1 my thread executed, then sleep is going on, then R2 my thread 1 executed, then immediately R1 my thread 2, then my thread 2, my thread. So R2 my thread 3, then after 3 close, then 4 started. Okay, but if I see these things are sequentially, if when you want to execute sequentially, then you need wait function, a join function. Otherwise, if you need to execute parallelly, then no need to use join method. Okay, now let us see here. I will just remark it this part. I made it remarked. Okay. Now let us see T1, T2, whether T2 is waiting for T1 or not. See here, my thread 1 started, my thread 2 started, then my thread 1, my thread 2. So parallelly, my thread 1 and my thread 2 start continuously executed. Then after completion, this then 3, 4 executed sequentially. Okay, so join method is used here to hold others, and after completion of current thread, then only it will allow others. So that is used for this join method. So now today we have seen the some methods that is here in this program. In this program here, uh, this join method we have discussed. Well, this join method discussed, and get name method, this set set name method. These are the methods which we have discussed now. Set name is to set the name of the thread. Get name is to return the name, get the name of the thread, and join to allow to wait for other to others for waiting means for executing after complete of the current thread. Okay. Then another is alive method we have tested. Is alive, that is to check whether current thread is live or not. It is returns true or false. Okay. So I will give some programs using these things. So which you have to do today, and you have to submit it. Okay.